This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3. The dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Let's go race.
Come on, man. The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with two classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Legacies aren't built overnight. They're built 1 second at a time. Never taking a lap off, and always pushing the limits. K1, helping you build your legacy from the beginning.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser Driver Fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm gonna show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
The day is ours and we seize it. Haters, man, they got reasons. Grab the moment, we freeze it. Go to the touch, oh, what a rush. Follow your heart, homie, go where the love. Let it rain, let it flow, let it flood. Swimming in good vibrations, it's a celebration. It's the liberation of everything we are. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down. Do not let them try, go ahead and get it, get it, get it, get it.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
K1 Circuit, the world's greatest outdoor karting facility, is now open. Open karting and rental session schedules are available online. Rentals will resume today after the race event at 5 p.m. Thanks to Kart Chaser for live streaming the event at K1 Circuit. Your coverage will resume shortly.
Welcome everybody to today's coverage of Champions of the Future, the Americas Series. Today, Kart Chaser has all your coverage from K1 Circuit out in California. Today's expected to be a busy day for the competitors as it's round number 4 this weekend here from California as these drivers all get themselves situated and ready to go. Qualifying starts things off here for the day with the Mini under 10 and the Minis in general. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Brad Dalton for today's coverage with plenty of crew members on the scene out at K1 Circuit. But today is expected to be a busy day to say the very least. Lots of points on the line, and for these drivers, lots of opportunities to see who comes out on top here this weekend.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is going to be an exciting run here for the weekend. I'm glad everyone's tuning in here. Now, I personally am used to Whiteland, Indiana's K1 Circuit, but we're here in Winchester, California. Good old West Coast is the best coast, as they say. And I tell you what, right now the weather couldn't be better. We're looking at about 81 degrees and perfectly sunny for the entire weekend here as we go through. Minis out for qualifying and round 4 of the season here, and this season goes all the way through to September. We started all the way at the end of January, and this is setting up to be a very, very good race here. 3 rounds down and 5 rounds to go. I can't wait to see how this weekend ends.
I can't wait to see how this weekend starts too as these drivers currently qualify on the racetrack. You see that timer at the upper left-hand corner of your screen for those ones show on here on Kart Chaser. These drivers only 6 minutes to be able to set their fastest times. Now, talking about the layout itself here, Brad, these drivers do have the Pro Track. This features the D's and the hairpin, essentially. There are a lot of hairpin sections, per se, on the front straightaway parts and towards the backstretch. But It's going to be really technical, I think there's a way to say, in regards to what you'll see in Sector 2, because there's a lot of hairpins and there's a lot of weaving once you get past the standard hard brakes of what you normally see in the opening sector. And from there, as you can see, these drivers have to ebb and flow. There isn't necessarily a straight shot to a hard brake like you'd see on some of the layouts.
Yeah, I really like this layout. And of course, last time out here for round 3 back in March, it was the reverse layout, but with the addition of the tic-tac-toe at the end of the long straightaway. So kind of looking at things here going through, I think what's going to be really exciting for this is a couple of corners. I think going out of turn 9 is going to be a big passing opportunity right here. I think we're going to see some drag races to the line, I would expect. And then I'm also really expecting to see some dives into turn 5. I'm thinking those two sections of the track are going to give us some really good passing opportunities. Just when it's all said and done, I think that's going to be the big areas. Warm-ups this morning, I saw a little bit of drivers kind of being fun in D1 and D2, but nobody really trying anything. But of course, that's warm-ups, and this is qualifying, and whenever we go to racing, the gloves come off, and drivers will do things that we don't expect time and time again.
Now let's talk about what's on the racetrack, by the way. Currently, Asher Bizanski, who's at the top of the board, leads things off here in the qualifying session. That's one of the top drivers in the mini side so far this season, with Maddox Carlucci in second for Nash Motorsports. That's a 4/10 difference. Those drivers are the 200s essentially on your board. The U10s go to a different number board. That's where Carson Bishop is amongst the drivers lead things off in the session. Right now, that includes a gap of 6/10 the overall pole, but it's only a few tenths up over the Precision Works car. That's Sebastian in Matajazic, who is currently riding along inside the top 5. Now, track position is very critical, but as you can tell with some of the number overlay here, these drivers do have to think about, as one of the drivers goes peeling off the racetrack, that is Spencer Entel, who is going to be pulled off to the side of the racetrack. They're going to have to think quite simply, battle with multiple different classes to try and battle for the top points here. And so far, the respective championships, mind you, both championships are not safe, Brad, because with the distances, both of them are within about 50 points coming into today.
Yeah, this is one of the things, kind of looking at those points as they sit. It's very close here for everyone. And just remembering the fact that we have to get to the end of the year, which is easier said than done. We have to get to the end of September. These rounds in the middle of the season are more critical than you might think. You know, you might think getting a good run early on is important, finishing strong is important, but every run that you can make and have a good go is going to be more important than I think some of these drivers may recognize. And this is one of the things that we really see in these junior classes here, the mini and the under 10 mini, is you're going to see, you know, these drivers really love to race, but a few of them, depending on kind of where they're at in that development cycle, are going to recognize, well, sometimes it's not best to battle right now. I need to work and move forward and try to capitalize on my weekend. But a lot of times in this under 10 group and this mini group, you see the gloves come off and stay off.
They kind of do, absolutely. But for these youngsters, they're just about finished. Mind you, the P1 karts were amongst those that came out a minute or two after a majority of those in the session. We'll have a bit of separation built up on the racetrack for them. Bizanski at the top of the board over Colucci. Then Pasquale in the top 3. All of those in the mini straightforward class members. The under 10 still led by Bishop. That's also followed by the 137, once again up on the board of Matajazic. So these drivers finishing up things for these laps. You can see them all reaching that checker flag along the straightaway. Mio getting that signal to then peel off and slow down their tempo here. So as all the rest of the drivers finish up their laps, and a couple drivers like Val and Jin move up the board a couple spots towards the middle of the pack, everyone else will peel off the racetrack, with Bizanski leading things off by 4/10 over Carlucci, Pasquale, then Benjamin Tavi, followed by Kendall West. These drivers as well will be in a quick rotation per se. A few minutes gap in the schedule is going to be one of the main talking points today, because originally they were going to have 5 different classifications of Group Dawson, but they did combine K100 Heritage and the X30 Pros for today. So that means these drivers in between each class will have about 8 minutes to stretch and be able to plan things out before they hit the racetrack, a part of the qualifying stints.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a very, very nice thing for these drivers here to kind of get those extra couple minutes. It was a tight schedule through. Combining the classes sort of gives a little bit of breathing room. You know what's really nice about that, Justin, is it gives us some breathing room. So why don't we step aside for a second, and when we come back, we'll go on to the next qualifying session, K100 Junior here on Kart Chaser.
Empire Karts, your trusted trackside kart specialist, proudly supporting champions of the Future America Series, West Coast karting teams, and racers. Empire Karts, your trackside solution.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently. with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3. The dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Taking a look at the KA100 juniors as they get ready for today. So we continue our coverage with Champions of the Future and its America's Series here this morning. Again, 2 days of racing action getting set to go here from Winchester, California as we prepare for today. Justin Prince, Brad Dalton with you. We also have Nate Dean down pit side over the course of this weekend. Plenty of crew members busy across the facility. And as you can see, these drivers are just about to get the command to be able to roll for our second qualifying group of the day. And the big question, how have things looked so far for them? Well, Sebastian Hauser has been the talk of the series, coming off the feature win last time out that propelled him to the points lead after all by 33 points. Brandon Wagner is keeping the pressure high, though. That's the thing here, Brad. It's been tight in the point standings. Those competitors have also been pretty strong in the qualifying efforts over the course of the season so far.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those really close qualifyings to watch here. Going back to KA Junior in round 3, it was actually Ren Spears who was able to go through, and then there was early chaos in the first heat that, of course, took out multiple runs and let Sebastian Hauser just kind of have a great weekend when it was all said and done. Round 2 was also a lot of Sebastian Hauser and Cameron Johnson battling it out. Braden Wagner was able to win the main event, though. I'm curious to see. There's a lot of strong talent in this field as the green flag flies. Who can rise to be the cream of the crop this weekend? Will we have Sebastian Hauser again come through and get the win? Braden Wagner won round 1 and round 2. Can he come through for round 4 and get a win? Or will Bronson Kustis come across and get a good win? Or a name that we haven't brought up could come across and get a win. You never know. And already qualifying. Look at this. We're already having some point buys. We're already shuffling around side by side. We're 60 seconds into this.
Yes, indeed. And all these drivers, quite simply, trying to feel things out. They've been busy with the practice sections of the course of the morning as well, mind you, to prepare themselves for what's expected to be some interesting battling in general. So right now, the main thing I'm noticing, though, is a lot of these drivers going to be trying to, quite simply, figure out where the passing opportunities may pop up today. Yes, of course, you have the run up along the finish straight, for example, but when it's so technical with so many S's, it's going to get interesting where a lot of the setup's going to be, especially for the KAs, as they'll be the vast majority of your motor complex type around here. You see just how much flowy this track is, where there might not be as many chances to dive.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to really kind of keep an eye on for this KA 100 junior group and figuring out where those opportunities are, where moments can happen, where they can't happen is going to be a very, very important part. And there's a lot of strong talent in this field, to be honest with you. So this is something to look at and just really keep an eye on for who can go where. Looking right now, one of our early front runners in this run was Henry Escala, who was going through, and just looking at some of his history. I mean, he ran the Chili Challenge, Adams Motorsports Park back in December, got 5th there. He's been running Challenge of the Americas, having steady mid-pack runs going through. A lot of experience with Tri-C Carters last year. I'm curious to see, he was up front, top of the times for a little bit. He's dropped down to 16th now. So I just want to see, for him specifically in that 316, can he jump up as those fastest laps are still rotating through the field?
Yeah, you see there, Gustas at the top of the board. 51 1,000ths, by the way, the separation over Nathan Ramirez, Hauser, Ferguson, Keegan Ellsworth are amongst your top 5, with Daniel Ramirez down in the 6th position. So this is going to be a plano situation. There goes Bizanski to the top of the board, though. The competition speed able to charge to the top. Diesel putting together a run there to get himself up the board. So all this as well, the pace continues to build up with the temperatures, the tires, and you see right here, some of the drivers at the very least have broken away rather than stay grouped together here in terms of their working together packs. Like Gustas does not seem to be in sync with his fellow teammates here to be able to work together in the Kartniks.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those to watch here for how teammates cooperate with each other. We've got a lot of teammates all the way up and down the field in every class. So as I look, I'm just wondering when teammates are going to start working a bit more together than what we're seeing right now as it goes through. As Diesel up there, the competition speed cart going through, Kartnik 2 and 3, Nash Motorsports in 4th place with Angelo Adkins going along. And then it's a very shuffled up field right now. Not what I was expecting at the moment. And really just looking through, Sebastian Hauser not up at the top of the board here, which again is not what I was expecting to see going along. I'm just curious to really see how this shuffles through as it goes. But Justin, I do have to remind myself and everyone else listening, it is still qualifying. Qualifying does not say the end-all be-all of the weekend.
No, it doesn't, but it definitely helps your start of the weekend at the very least. As long as you're able to stay out of trouble, really set yourself up for a good run over the course of a few days. But it really depends on how you are able to attack it and then set up some moves. Remember, Zansky in one of the rounds earlier this season won as much as 12 spots gained during one of the finals, so there's ability to cut their way through there. Under 20 seconds to go in the session. We continue to watch some of the drivers. Hauser, of note, is down in 8th. The Hayner Racing Team machine well down the order. Already had some challenges over the course of the session, so this is going to be very nerve-wracking to say the very least for him during the races. He's done it before with a couple charges. We'll see what happens as the drivers will take the checker flag this time through. Directed down pit road. Sebastian Johnson stays in the top 5. Bizanski's time stays up in the 50.9s for the best. Gustas, though, jumps up to 3rd over Braden Wagner. Nixon Ellsworth holds on to the top 5. Troy Ferguson got the 2nd slot in that order. So, of note, your points leader will start in 9th today. That is a long way to come for your heats throughout the day.
That it is. That's a long way for Sebastian Hauser to try to move. I don't think it's impossible, all things considered, but it is definitely something he'll have to keep an eye on through the day as we see the drivers jumping out of the carts, taking the gloves off, taking the helmets off, doing a little bit of debriefing there with each other and just talking about how they ran going through. But Diesel Bizonsky up on top. Great time from him, but also of note there, the top 17 separated by 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, it was pretty competitive to say the very least, and we'll see how competitive our next group is because we're zipping through the schedule. You're watching Kart Chaser for Champions of the Future.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
So it's 4 different pole sitters in KA100 Junior in 4 different events. Diesel Bizonsky on pole. Asher did it in mini. Now you. How does that feel for the team?
That feels great. I mean, the competition speed team on the top, pole, me, pole mini. It just feels great to have everyone on pace, and I feel like we're going to do pretty good this weekend.
Of course, this weekend starting off on the right note on a track that has not as many technical aspects as what we've seen, especially in that third sector earlier on this season. How important is this pole position going on for the rest of the weekend?
It's pretty important. Like, you really want to get a good drafting partner because there's two good main straights. It's the one coming out of turn 8 and the main straight, which it's going to be a good drafting point. So you want to, it's more maybe some defensive points down later in the race. So I'll keep that in mind.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Asher. Hopefully we get to talk later on in the weekend. Asher Brzezinski on pole for KA100 Junior.
Thank you very much, Nate. As some great insight there in terms of the mindset. As he said, 2 different family members on the top of the board so far, Brad, when it comes to our first 2 classes. Now, it gets interesting to see where things shape up for the second half of the qualifying sessions. The KA100 seniors will have a few minutes of preparation before they hit the racetrack here. And so far, the challenges have been pretty high for those drivers over the course of the season, led by Johnny Stamps in the points by a sizable gap. But remember, Keegan Kaliminski came in and won here. Here's the track layout for those that want a visualization from high above here today, by the way. Remember, this track about 4,320 feet in length. We are running clockwise as a result with your layout. And we're seeing just how much some of these drivers have to work into the technical bits. You see where some of the area is around 5 onward.
Yeah, just taking a look at the track, you can see all of the additional run that could be there going through, but, you know, we're not, and it's going along. I think this is going to be an interesting... I really like this layout. The more I've looked at this, the more I like this layout, honestly. I think it's a great balance of everything, of the way, kind of just giving the best of both worlds of karting. Some good corners to show some twisty bits through, but then great draft, straight line speed stuff that I think is going to be interesting to really watch along. So looking at everything through, I think this is going to be a great run for the day. We've already seen 2 great qualifying, so I'm not surprised to see more here. KA Senior coming up next here, Justin, and I think looking at this, you've got a lot of big names going through. You've got a lot of fast drivers here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who to put any sort of thought on for who will win.
Yeah, especially since it's been an interesting time where you've had different drivers here. Jake Drew's amongst those that have turtle wrenches and also come with wins here at the racetrack, for example. Some of the classes, it really depends on class to class here, to say the very least. But keep in mind, when it comes to this respective class, they're amongst those that are competing for prizes. Majority of the classes, if you come away with a win in the event, you make it easier for yourself cost-wise, because first place is registration, the driver's package fees are waived for your next event. Funnily enough, the next event is a double points race, by the way, which would be very beneficial if you go to Spring Mountain for that one in late May. So there is a little bit more at stake for that, knowing especially the big points haul that can happen when you go over to Spring Mountain next time. But you have to go through this weekend, of course, and then through this track a majority of the weekend. If you want to be able to win this championship, you better know every layout here if you want to win the title.
Yeah, this is the most visited track on the schedule, and what I think is really exciting about that is the fact that every time we come to this track, it's not the same layout. We're always using a slightly different variation of this K1 circuit and going through, you know, round 1 was the pro track, round 2 is the pro track with the chicane and the D, round 3 we went reverse with tic-tac-toe. Today we're using the hairpin layout, and then of course when we come back at the end of June, we use the full reverse layout with everything and really stretch this track out. So the fact that this track is utilized so much, this has to be a track that, you know, I always talk about in racing, especially at different levels, there needs to be a binder of tracks that you know well. K1, I think if you're racing here in the West Coast in this Champions of the Future series, this track has to be top of your binder of tracks that you know.
It has to be a circuit you figure out, absolutely, and it is a popular place, mind you, here on the West Coast. Brings a lot of talent to it. Now, talking about how things are going here. Again, in regards to the series, we mentioned Stamps at the top of the board. You have Archer Eversman that looked very competitive last time out. Matthew Cagle made big headlines with how well that Kart did last time out. Cagle is amongst those in for Formula Works and the GFCs here again this weekend. Jackson Menchu starts up at the top of the board as the rest of the drivers will skyrocket themselves up the order. Gonna get interesting with the dozens upon dozens where they're gonna fall as the tire pressures come in, and a lot of different outfits are here when you stack things up. For example, there's a big balance in regards to the manufacturer of the chassis here. Round 3 alone had a good mixture of OTK affiliates, GFC affiliates, and as well as a couple different independents on the team sides. Those numbers will be very spread apart here, and the GFCs seem to be all working together here at the very least. See if they can figure out where they're going to shuffle on the board, and we know this is going to be one of those home region races for them. What we've seen with them across the nation at the national level. Stamps right now towards the top, but it's going to be Max up at the top of the board here for now. That is only by 81 thousandths.
Yeah, looking here at your field so far, 32 competitors on the track, and all the top 29 separated by under a second. And let me tell you, if you don't think you can quickly find a second around this track, you are wrong. I think it's very easy, especially if you're in traffic, to lose a second. So you've got to just be careful here, as that was a Kart pulling off there, I think, in a weird way. Not sure where they were heading to, but the track definitely didn't run that way. So not ideal going through, but a lot of team affiliations here, a lot of drivers really looking to make a big run here as across the line we're going to go. And again, watch that timing tower just shuffle. The more and more we go through, the more and more these times are going to shuffle. They're going to improve. We're going to continue to see drivers really settle into their rhythm. And by the end of this qualifying session, Justin, I don't know who's going to be where. Look at that. Oliver Calvo goes up to the top now with a 50.044. I would not be surprised if we crack into the 49s.
Calvo's been a familiar name that's popped up to me in various different series here, so it's not surprising to see him do well, because Calvo has been a driver for Calvo Driver Development that looks pretty solid, to say the very least. For example, he's also competed in Winter Nats. He competed up as high as the top 10 in some of those races out in Texas. He's also a top half of the field runner in the Super Nats last year. But it's going to be important to see if the time stands. There's still a lot of these drivers building up the temps here. Minute 30 to work with about 3, maybe 4 laps for a vast majority of the field have set things out. You have Isert up in second spot for Speed Sense Motorsports. Archer Eversman holds on to the top 3. 43 1/1000ths the separation here, Brad. So pretty tight, and a lot of your top contenders in the championship, per se, already going to have a lot of work. Cagle, for mention, is down in 19th. Stamps is down in 20th in some of the Formula Works carts.
Everything mixing up here, and Calvo with Team Kartnet going through. That's one of your GFC chassis going along and through, trying to just find he's a CES55 chassis going through. You saw him make a pass there through the third sector as he goes along, and you see him tucking the helmet. He's not waiting back for anyone. And again, if you wonder where hundredths and thousandths of a second come in a kart, it's tight margins here in karting. Welcome to karting. If it's your first time through, well, it's a lot of fun, and those tight margins just get even closer. As you see, really wheeling the kart here, Calvo, is you can see the wheels almost lifting on the rear. He's just putting so much torque and pressure into that kart, trying to muscle through to find those milliseconds where they can be found to keep that gap over Steven Isert, who is in second place, 17 1/1000ths of a second behind here. Justin, checkered flags out. This is going to be all she wrote. Can anyone make the massive jump up the field?
A lot of people in the mid-pack actually weren't able to get an extra lap down here, or some are just that far behind. Josh Leslie held on to fourth. Menchu held on to the fifth spot. Eversman holds on to third. Isert holds on to second. And Calvo does hold on to the top of the board, as everybody's been indicated as checker flag up on the board. at least on the scoring. We'll see if anything swaps around here or if they just send him straight down pit road. And that was an interesting timing with the checkered, because that was right in the heart of this entire pack you see right here when they got the trigger.
Bonus lap coming through for this group as they come along, led by the 474 as they come around here. Coming to the checkered flag now, is there any improvement to be found for them? Led by Cameron Perry, the answer is a resounding no.
Not surprised as you see all the checkered flags on the left side of your screen. Think timing and scoring wouldn't have scored that forward either way. Besides the fall off for a lot of those drivers had gone into 4 to 7 tenths already. So with that in mind, it's Calvo who sets the pole. He gets it over Isert, then Eversman and Leslie Menshew in the top 5. Then you have Stefan Searock in the 6th position. Then Aiden Aquino will be in 7th. Sega Max started up on the top of the board for Kartnick. He dropped down to 8th amongst your drivers. The rest of the field will scroll on through. Big names are not up the front. Kegel, 21st, Stamps, 23rd, and plenty of other fast drivers who we've seen contend at the top half, if not top 5 in the past few weeks. They're going to have a big-time hill to climb here today. With that in mind, we have one more group of qualifiers coming up in a few minutes' time. KA100 Heritage and the X30 Pros will hit the racetrack for the respective group. They'll hit the circuit in just a moment. You're watching Kart Chaser here from California.
Legacies aren't built overnight. They're built 1 second at a time. Never taking a lap off. And always pushing the limits. K1, helping you build your legacy from the beginning.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser Driver Fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm going to show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
The day is ours and we seize it. Haters, man, they got reasons. Grab the moment, we freeze it. Go to the touch, all what a rush. Follow your heart, homie, go where the love. Let it rain, let it flow, let it flood. Swimming in good vibrations, it's a celebration. It's the liberation of everything we are. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down. Do not let them try, go ahead and get it, get it, get it, get it.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula 1 to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
K1 Circuit, the world's greatest outdoor karting facility, is now open. Open karting and rental session schedules are available online. Rentals will resume today after the race event at 5 p.m. Thanks to Kart Chaser for live streaming the event at K1 Circuit, your coverage will resume shortly.
Well, Oliver Calvo, fastest in KA100 Senior against quite a stacked grid. Like we said, in KA100 Junior, 4 pole sitters and 4 events. Same with KA Senior. Talk about how you got done on track.
Yeah, I was a little late to the grid, so I was kind of worried actually about my track positioning, but it ended up working out. Eversman's been really quick all weekend. I was able to get a pretty good lap behind him, so yeah, I'm happy with that.
You said you had a half pushback as well while we were talking off air. Obviously not ideal, might put you a little bit further back than the front row, but obviously confidence is high, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a half pushback, whatever, they take the fastest lap. I'm coming back. I'm coming to came here to win, and I think I'm ready to show that.
Came here to win. Oliver Calvo, fastest in KA100 Senior.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Oliver.
That's interesting to say the very least, I think, with the half pushback, because normally you don't see that in qualifying, Brad, but we do here today, and that's going to really impact how things look in the official lineup later on today.
I mean, that just shows how competitive that field was going through in KA Senior. So, I mean, when Calvo knows coming off, hey, half pushback, that's going to affect me going through. I mean, this is a driver that has a lot of talent, though. So, just taking a look here, you heard him say it, he's here to win. And, I mean, when you look at some of his recent performances, I mean, he's been running SCUSA Winter Nats. He ran Super Nats and finished 10th out of 44 karts in the Pro X30 category. It's going to be no surprise if we see Calvo show up, even with a half pushback, to really run things along.
Going to be an interesting day, to say the very least, now for some. But as we get ready to go, there are 2 different classes left to go, and they are combined for a qualifying session here. That's going to be the Heritage and the Pro, or the X30 Pro, as you may call. Talk about Heritage. Last time out, Tony Gonzalez, one of the full-time competitors that have been one of just a few who have made all the races so far, built up 218 total points this season. Paul Bonilla did not make the last round, though. Same for Joshua Daly. That allowed the cushion to build up a little bit in the standings per se, once things got averaged out. Keep in mind, on the entry list today, Gonzalez is here with Daly, a part of those competitors in that class, so those will be the 2 trying to battle out for points. Eric Doan has been one of the fastest karts on the property over the course of the past few weeks. He had 51 points, in fact, picked up from round 4's feature event. That in turn sees him up by 44 points over Sergei Karamaselli, who will try to look to charge up. Jake Drew not make last round, remember, with the turn of the wrenches. So the karts are on the racetrack. There is Karamaselli going to be in the 604 in the black machine. He'll try and work his way around the circuit amongst those on his own a little bit to start off qualifying here as we begin our final qualifying session of the day.
Final qualifying session out on track here. You can see everyone giving a bit of room. Nobody here really trying to stay close to karts around. I don't see anyone doing anything too crazy, and a lot of tire warm up here early on is also the other thing to note. This is one of those things that, you know, you really want to try to get in a good lap quickly going along here when you're in combined classes as well, because the thing is, the weight difference between X30 Pro and KA100 Heritage is going to start to come into play. KA100 Heritage, a 390-pound minimum weight, whereas the X30 Pro is a 360-pound minimum weight. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the times, sort of how they shuffle along, go through this run. We'll see how they line up as it goes through. First laps are about to come in.
Yeah, and as you can see, different outlook here today, different chassis as well that he'll have to keep an eye on in regards to 604. Touch upon that story a little bit more over the course of the weekend. But the Access Kart Sport of Caden O'Connor jumps to second behind Satanko. Maida will jump up front in the Precision Works machine. The rest of the field continues on here. Neo in the top 3, Quino in the top 4 so far. One of the few drivers doing double duty over the course of this weekend. As you can see, some of the argy-barging is coming out from some of the Formula Works to make some moves and get to clean space. Keep in mind, these karts going to race a little bit different compared to a majority of these on the track in regards to the X30s on property here, Brad, because different type of engine package, different type of speed. And as you can see, I think they're almost playing a game of Olay. It looked like either or. One of them trying to not want to be the one getting the draft and not the one feeding the draft in that circumstance. Those different approaches to this track also going to impact how some of the lines work in regards to running in the pack, as they use a lot of curves in the opening corners.
Yeah, interesting to see just the difference in process going through here as Caden O'Connor is coming across with fastest lap at the moment. Just seeing the different approach in the karts at this point. And if you're wondering which class is which, by the way, the 500 number plates are going to be your KA100 Heritage, and then everyone else in the 600 number plates is your X30 Pro. And you can see helmet tucking here. Everyone really trying to find some momentum as they go along, heading into the final corner here on the run. And this is Aquino coming across the line, trying to find an improvement, and does. Aiden Aquino up to the top of the timing tower so far, but this field is spread out quite a bit still, so we'll see those times shuffle, and I think part of what's going to kind of determine who lands where in the timing is going to be the timing of the checkered flag.
Sully right now jumping up to the second spot within 2/10 of the pole, by the way, as you see Aquino. It is time to visualize, so to speak, with 2 minutes to go in the session. Now, as these drivers continue to play things out, though, it's going to get really intriguing once we get to these races, because for those who are tuning in here at Kart Chaser, one of the things to mention is we do have 3 heats, a part of this series, if you're following along for the first time. 7 laps is the distance for the minis today, 9 laps for the KA100 Juniors. We've got 10 laps apiece for senior, as well as for the Heritage and X30 Pros. So those races are going to go by pretty quick, because you're adding up the minutes here, maybe in total on laps 8 minutes to plot and plan at the very most for a lot of your competitors here, as Aquino jumps up the time even more, and a couple say, you know what, that's enough on our laps. So quite simply, this is the type of day where you won't have as many thoughts today, at least, to think about your moves. Tomorrow you have a little bit more opportunity where you go to double-digit minutes.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where, you know, a Saturday is very important. You can recover from a bad Saturday on a Sunday if you do it right, and that is a hard thing to do sometimes, and it's a hard mindset to remember, is the fact that you can recover on Sunday what you lose on Saturday. So even if Saturday is sort of, you know, a 6 out of 10, not that ideal day, when you go into Sunday, it can really make a difference if you are able to hold on to it here. As Joshua Daly there with the Nash Motorsport cart goes through, pulls in there, knows that the checkered flag is about to fly, and it looks like for Joshua Daly there with Nash Motorsports Racing is going to go ahead and pull in one of your 2K100 Heritage drivers.
So Daly looks like he's happy with his time, up by 4/10 over Gomez there. So we're about to see the checker in the next 5 seconds. Connor already amongst those peeling on down, as you said. Still come through with the checker flag. Aquino not able to improve last time, was actually near 2 seconds off his personal best. A lot of the drivers have fallen off again, about 4/10 here. But again, new chassis here for the 604 machine to battle over the course of the weekend, hearing in terms of some of the notes he's got in. Normally, when it comes to Carmicelli, we've seen pop up plenty of times in terms of the Pro Tour was around those who competed there nationally. He spent much of the winter racing, in fact, over in Houston, as well as some of the other racetracks that popped up like Tucson in recent weeks. So he's been busy at the national scene. On top of being those, able to race in the Super Nats. He was a DNF in last year's Super Nats. But he will be in position to battle for some points early on. O'Connor, who so far this season has been up and down on his runs. We have amongst those in the top 3 as the drivers peel on down and finish up their qualifying efforts. But that 621 machine looks to be the happiest. He'll be the one at the top of the board by near 2/10 over Caraselli. Then O'Connor will be amongst those in the top 4. Then you also have the 615. That is Manio will start in the top 5. Top drivers, by the way, in your Heritage, Daly and Gomez. Your thoughts on qualifying here today, as already, span of just about an hour or so, we're getting ready for some heat races in about 20-30 minutes from now.
Yeah, I think the qualifying has really kind of shown that there's a lot of pace through a lot of drivers in the field. I think a little bit of luck and a lot of skill is going to come in to show who will rise to the top here in this racing in California. I think it is a little bit of a challenge for the day to really see who can capitalize, and I think this track layout is going to produce some amazing racing.
I think it definitely will, as these competitors really try and solidify themselves during the qualifying races here today. Sort things out. Remember, those do count for the point standings. Those, after all, build up a few markers for your championship. For example, gain as much as 25. Some of the drivers have over the course of the season, just in the qualifying heats, before you set up those super heats for tomorrow. But again, for those wanting to watch along with the qualifying heats in a little bit, be sure to subscribe, and not only subscribe, join the Kart Chaser memberships, because if you do, you can access not just this race, but plenty of others across the nation. You're able to watch for $9.99 a month. You can, too, find a way to follow along nationally with all the events here at the Kart Chaser World of Racing. So, with that in mind, as these drivers continue to prepare themselves for this afternoon, what are some of the keys you think that are going to be to coming away with a victory here over the course of this one? I'll ask that question afterwards, because Nate Dean is the one who has some questions for a pole sitter.
Yeah, Justin, another new face on pole here at Champions of the Future America Series. Aiden Aquino on pole for X30 Pro. Running double duty this weekend. I saw you running from the scales all the way to the grid to get ready. Obviously, that's going to be a lot, but talk about your session, how that went for you.
It was good. Just trying to get some clean air. I didn't really want Sergey behind me, but yeah, felt good. Kart's good. First time running the GFC this weekend. So everything's kind of new. First time running X30 in 6 years, I think. So totally new this weekend, but just having a fun time.
Yeah, and of course, with the X30, extra power as well. A lot more tire management you'll be having to do throughout the weekend. And obviously, drivers that have been doing this throughout the entirety of the season know this track like the back of their hand. You ready for the challenge this weekend?
I think so, yeah. I've been having fun so far. That's the most important thing. Car feels good and driving good, so that's all I need.
All right, perfect. Well, Aiden Aquino, you'll see him in X30 Pro and KA100 Senior pole sitter in the 125 division.
Thank you very much, Nate. As on that note, it's time for KC Premium. It's time to switch streams. So if you're watching along on Kart Chaser, be sure to be ready to switch and be able to subscribe to KC Premium. On that note, we'll see you after the break. As we'll get ready to go, let's head over to KC Premium behind the paywall as we get ready for some qualifying heats here today from K1 Circuit.
This broadcast is the sole property of Kart Chaser Group, LLC. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the images, audio, or accounts of this event, in whole or in part, without the expressed written consent of Kart Chaser Group, LLC is strictly prohibited. Thanks for watching.